more stuff that they can show you on the studio stand. We're going to move on to 40k next. Now, the next 40k is Imperial Guard, Volume 1. We're doing a second edition of that, and that's probably going to be out around about Christmas time. The old one has been out of print for a while and contained Imperial Navy as well, but that's now included in our Aeronautica book. So this is purely Imperial Guard now, and it contains, what does it contain? It's a new edition, it's entirely new, has a lot of the pictures and stuff from the previous and the background, but what it does contain is all the current Forge World Imperial Guard vehicles. So the ones that have been in the other books, we've put all those in there as well. So it's a one-stop shop for all your Imperial Guard vehicles. And after that, whoa, there we go. We don't want to spoil the next thing. And it's also got updated rules for all those vehicles. So they all work with the new 40k, 6th edition 40k. So, who can guess what's after that?
The old enemy.
The next after that is going to be Volume 12, which is the Fall of Orpheus. And the Fall of Orpheus contains Necrons. And it also will have the Minotaur's chapter for the Space Marines against them, and Deathcore Krieg. There's the guy there coming back with all their tanks and artillery. We've got a few pictures and models that are coming up for that. This is a Necron Sentry pylon, which is like the other pylon, but it's smaller. So Stuart Williamson's currently working on that, and I think they have the model on the 40k Forge World stand today for you to look at. But he's currently working on it. We may twiddle with some bits on that, but it's pretty well finished. This is a mock-up of the Tesseract Arc, which is a mock-up that Darren Parwood's done. This is like a tank thing, but if you want to find out more, ask the questions in a bit, or come and see Alan later and I'll tell you all about it. This is a Night Shroud bomber, which is based on the Games Workshop plastic kit, but it has some extra bits to it, so it makes it into a larger thing. It's got new bombed bits underneath and stuff. That's a mock-up which has been done by Darren again. And there's a new Lightning Fighter, which will probably replace the old one. So if you haven't got the old one, get it now, because it's probably going to go, and this one will replace it. So it's a new design of Lightning Fighter, which has been done by Darren, and that's pretty well finished now. I finished it last week, so that's a finished model. And on to the next thing, which is Horus Heresy. Now, this is a new thing, so most of you won't have heard about it at all. Nobody will know anything about it, and I can't believe it's going to be. It's not popular. It's going to be, as far as I can tell. It's about a guy who falls out with the Emperor and has a bit of a fight. Fight over the galaxy. Yeah, it's a small thing. We thought we'd do a few books on it. We'll see how we go, eh? This is available today. This is Horus Heresy Book 1, Betrayal. Book 1 gives us a clue, and there may be more than one book. There may be more than two. We hope so. Depends if we sell some. This book's available today from the Forge World stand. All you need to do is to queue up, apparently for a very long time, but you can get one. But they have got quite a lot of them, and plenty of them. So if you've come just for the book, you're probably all right to leave it for a bit and stay to the end of the seminar. Has anybody got one? Right, one. Oh, you do.
Bless you.
There we are. Okay. Alan will sign them for you if you want. It's a small fee.
Often using even my own name.
Yes. But this is out today. But we've got some new stuff coming out as well on top of the models that we've released today. So there is some Legion heavy support squads which are featured in the book, and the ones at the top have autocannons, I think. Yep. And the ones at the bottom have heavy bolters. So they come like this, the squads. They are devastating squads with a lot of heavy weapons in them. What else do we have? Well, we've got a Death Guard Relic Contemptor Dreadnought, and you can see that on the studio stand today. In fact, I think there might be a painted one of those. Yes. But they will. That'll be out in the next few weeks. And there's a World Eaters one as well, which very nice. And there's some more Legion Marines and weapons, and those are just some examples. There's a hand flamer, there's some lightning claws and stuff like that. But there's a whole load of weapon sets and extra sets we're doing for the Marines. We'll also be doing Legion-specific sets of Marines, which the arms and weapons will work with as well. So you'll get Death Card, Emperor's Children, etc., etc. But lots of work to do on those still, but they'll be coming out. Legion Champion and Master of Signal. They're featured in the book for your army. Very heavy his sword, that's why it's like that. There's also featured in the book, there's a Thalax. Now, we're sort of working our way through the Thalax, but the Thalax is the guy on the right-hand side, and that's his torso. And we put a Marine next to him to see, so you can see how big he is. So they're quite big, Thalax are. And they're a bit like Marines in as much as their power armour, but they don't have a body in them. They just have a head and a spinal cord.
And a few organs.
And a few organs. So they're almost like mini dreadnoughts in certain ways, but they'll be quite big. They're sort of ogre sized.
Yeah, they're kind of Ogren sized. If you want kind of mechanical killer Ogren with giant ray guns is probably the British way to put it.
There we go. Can't beat the giant ray guns, can you? Also, Sons of Horus Justurian Terminators, which they're sort of pretty well there, those. There's some extra bits to do for them, but Will Hayes has been doing them, and they're pretty well there. They'll come as bodies, which you can then put your normal Terminator arms on, the Cataphract Terminator arms on. But there are a few special weapons with the set as well. So you've got the axe and you've got the melter and things like that that you wouldn't normally get. So you get some extra weapon types. And obviously, because we're doing those, then of course we have to do this. There we go, ruining it again. There we go. We'll also be doing Abaddon. Now we've just done Angron as a box set figure, which is a special Horus Heresy one. The next one will not be a Primarch, it will be Abaddon and Locum. We'll probably do a Primarch after that, but we're going to do character sets. So you get 2 models in the next one, because they're not quite as big as Primarch. That's Abaddon, which Simon Egan is actually cast now, and he has a casting of it down on the Forge World studio stand. You can go and look at it in detail and ask him all the questions. But that was the master model. We've got to tweak a few bits on him, and then he's got to do Locum. That's why Locum is only a mock-up and out of focus. So you're not distracted. You're not distracted by the fact that it might be Locum when it's actually not. But that's Abaddon, which is a fantastic figure. It's very, very nice. A bit of an argument in the office the other day, which is better, Abaddon or Angron. So I think some people prefer one or the other, but they're both fantastic models, but really lovely model. So, anyway, so those are some of the stuff we've got coming up which fits in with the first book. Now, obviously, the next question is, of course, you want to ask, is what's in the second book? So the second book is called Massacre. And what the second book deals with is the following. It's the first part of the Istvan 5 campaign. So it's only the first part. It's not the whole of the Istvan 5 campaign, it's the first bit. And it will have 4 Space Marine Legions in it. So you've got the ones that you'll get in the first book, and if you've got the first book, and I no doubt the people that bought it this morning have already read it, so they'll be fully familiar with everything. It will use the Legion army list from there, but give you 4 extra new legions that you can use with that army list. And we'll look at what those are in a second. It will have Mechanicum forces in it as well. Some additional Mechanicum forces. And it's going to have some new vehicles. And it will have more characters in it. Now, what are those things? Well, the legions are going to be the Iron Hands, good guys, Night Lords, bad guys, the Word Bearers, bad guys. They're very bad guys. It's their fault a lot. Largely their fault. Never trust people that have words. Two words. That's what I say. Like Alan. Never trust him. Just words. And Woo. And the last one, this is great, this. And the salamanders. So that's just some artwork that Reese has put together, and he's got a few more as well, but the artwork he's put together. Now, there's obviously another 3 legions that take part in ISBAN 5. You'll all know that because you'll have read all the books. Those probably won't appear in the next book. They'll probably be in another ISBAN 5 book. So we just get those legions because it's the beginning of the battles on that. So that's all I have, I think. I think this goes to the big I now. So that's what we have as a presentation today. So